What's up, Parish Orphans and Retrogrades? Happy Sunday night. We come to you with a special hurricane show.
Hurricane episode.
Yeah. Of Rules for Retrogrades. I am here with my friend, Anthony Boss.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
And he's here in Hattiesburg with me, broadcasting live because you know what? He's a New Orleans boy with a New Orleans family, and they had to come out of the hurricane. So we thought we would give a little sort of boots on the ground update from a family who fled the scene.
Yeah, we took off a couple of hours earlier than we thought we'd have to yesterday because the traffic was just getting really intense. So we wanted to make sure we had enough time to get away. So
yeah, it was, I mean, we're kind of holed up here. It's tropical storm status in nearby Hattiesburg, but it's obviously pretty low key here compared to what you just fled, man. And we wanted to, say a prayer. Maybe we'll end in prayer here tonight for the victims of the hurricane, people that couldn't get out of New Orleans. And there are some people that either flat out couldn't. Some people are ordered to stay because of their job, right. Military, and
police and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a serious situation. 500,000 people right now are without power. And did it ever get upgraded to a Category 5?
I don't think it ever went Category 5. It's Category 4, which means there's 150 mile an hour sustained winds. And then the gusts can be higher than that. I do know that I think the only difference was when we looked it up, it was 157 miles an hour is a Cat 5. So that's, 7 miles an hour difference at 150 doesn't seem that big of a difference to me. So
still scary.
Scary. Yeah. And the 500,000 without power, that was as of a few hours ago. So I can only imagine it's worse because those things typically don't get any better. And in fact, they can't really do anything until they can wait till the storm passes because it's just unsafe to be around power, obviously, with the crews out and stuff. So people are just gonna have to sit tight and just hunker down like they did. Or what they're doing, hopefully.
The reason it's relevant, I was thinking about it as we had dinner. You have your whole family here, right? Our families are friends, our wives are friends. You're not that far away, boss. You're an hour and a half away. And I was sitting there thinking, as we were seated around my dining room table, like, this is relevant for the parish orphans and the retrogrades out there and just solid Catholics who are leading the pilgrim's life, because no one knows better than you that this is the nature of peregrinatio, pilgrimage. Like, you guys piled into your large trad van and came up here, and literally we've been making jokes and having a good time since last night when you got here, but you literally don't know, and neither do any of the other New Orleans folks, whether or not you're going to return to a destroyed home.
Yeah, absolutely. The most concerning part is that, like you said, some people just couldn't get out. I've never really thought about how some people just don't have the means to just jump in their vehicle and take off. So really want to be thinking about those people as well and praying for them. But then for us, people that can get out and leave, when can we get back in? Sometimes they don't let you back in. They'll say, you have to wait till X date to get back because it's not safe. When you do, what you're going to return to? Are you going to have a roof? We were just watching videos of like entire roofs being ripped off buildings. So I'm not laughing because any of this is funny. It's just that going through my mind is I could potentially pull back into where I left my entire life, and there could be basically nothing there. So very just a scary thought, I guess. And the fact that, like, hopefully it doesn't happen. People get hurt, people get killed during these things. And it's unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah, and it's especially relevant it's especially relevant chronologically because it's the 16th anniversary of Katrina, which is just weird. And everyone's already talking about that. People have probably heard it reported on with this hurricane 50 times already. But secondly, for us, for we pilgrims in the Pilgrim Church, Benedict XVI would always talk about the church as the Pilgrim Church. And I thought it was beautiful. We're all peregrines. We named one of our daughters Peregrine. It means religious traveler. It means pilgrim in Latin. And the concept of peregrinatio is that while we're here on earth, we are pilgrims. That means we're not supposed to be that attached to things. And yet human beings, by our nature, private property, whether it's real estate or personality, or personal things, we are. You are, I am, all of us are. And unless we've mastered the mendicant life, which few people in the lay vocation really have. So it's like yeah, I don't know. It's admirable. There's an admirability to what you know, you boss and all the people that have to flee the scene suddenly, no less, you know, with less than a week's notice. Do when you just scram, when you just skedaddle, and all of a sudden you're like, you guys were making last minute decisions. Do you put in the Traeger grill inside your house? You decided not to, which means it might show up on our front porch here.
It's probably on its way here right now. The wind is just crazy. So yeah, it could be on its way.
Yeah. But I mean, literally, you don't know what to expect. And this is not to be overly Mike Brady on this thing, but it's metaphorical for the Christian life, for the Christian traveler's life. It's like, hey, whatever Providence has cooked up for us, I guess here on the 16th anniversary of Katrina, it had a hurricane cooked up for us. And we don't know if it's going to be one that's a Category 4 storm that ends up less bad or more bad. And yeah, I just thought it's you know, worthy of having one of the denizens of New Orleans, since you happen to be in town, and we do this in, not of. I mean, what's it like as a person with a large family and a wife, and you know, your background. I don't know how often we talk about what you do professionally, but doing what you do, having a large family, being a Catholic man who heads a household.
Yeah.
You know, your kids are just playing with my kids. They don't even know. They're having a good time.
That's probably the eeriest part, is that a lot of the times, which is good, I guess, that kids don't know and they don't have an idea. But the conversations you have to have where you don't even think about what do we try to save? What do we put into the interior of the home? What can we leave out? What can we potentially put in the garage? There may be a couple feet of water. There's no way to really know anything. It's the strangest thing. Being through the storm last year, I think it was a Category 2 hurricane that came through. That was like child's play compared to this. And we hunkered down. We had lost power for 6 days during that storm.
I remember.
This is a Category 4. This could potentially be way worse. They were saying 14, 15, maybe 16 days without power. So then it's like, at what point, like I said, can you safely return? The decisions that you made, you have to make them on the fly. It's the best ones you can do at the time. Hopefully they were good ones. Because if you left something out and then it gets turned into a weapon because of the wind and it hurts somebody else, I mean, how bad would you feel? It's just a lot of things that you don't even think of. It's like, what food can you save? What can you take with you? A lot of things that I'm realizing now probably wasn't prepared for, that I should have taken more seriously or thought about. So hopefully people, can learn from that too, because I know I definitely will. But just wild having those discussions. It's crazy, and I have to bring up the fact that with those people who stay back, like the police and the firefighters and paramedics, whatever, there's priests there. In fact, I know a priest who told me, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, is staying in the situation now, so I can go out, and if I need to give viaticum, I can do that. Or if I have to minister to the sick, or whatever I have to do, I'm going to be here to do. So there's no way I'm leaving the area, which was obviously just amazing to hear. So we definitely want to pray for those folks, the priests, and I know New Orleans has got some religious and things too that obviously are in that area. And they're definitely on my mind right now, because they're the ones that go out and do the real work when these situations pop up.
I think other people from the different parts of the country are even wondering, like us being from California, we didn't know anything about hurricanes, so they're wondering, has it already hit? Like, what's?
Well, right now, I was gonna say, right now, like, we're getting rain here in Hattiesburg from the storm in New Orleans, so we're 2 hours straight north, basically inland, and they said that you get like 70-mile-per-hour winds later tonight. So we were securing some of your guys' stuff outside. I mean, and to the point of you knowing about hurricanes, did y'all even hear about that when you're out in California, or think about that really?
Yeah, it's weird because you're close to the coast as a West Coast person, but it's not an issue at all on the Pacific. So being Gulf side or Atlantic side, I was just talking to one of the teachers for the Retrograde Classical Academy, a buddy of mine back in California. And I'm like, that's funny, as West Coast kids, growing up in the Great Valley, he like he did and I did, Sacramento, Bakersfield, you don't know anything about hurricanes. You hear about them, the bigger ones occasionally. So people around the country have been contacting me about this. Most of my people are still in California in one way or another. But it's like, yeah, wow. When we first moved here, I mean, because we were friends already before I moved here.
Right.
We had 4 hurricanes that hit either Houston and banked east or New Orleans and banked north
Mhm.
within the first 3 months of last year when we moved here, you know? So it's a big deal that people
Yeah.
on the coasts of the Gulf Coast or the Atlantic, just the South Atlantic, just deal with.
Well, some of these people here are like the hardiest people too, because they hunker down, they've got water, they've got a generator, and they're just hanging out. They're just going to ride it through. And to me, I'm like, what? The first thing I was thinking is you got to get away from this stuff. You just have to get out because the potential with young kids, especially, if I didn't have kids to worry about too, I think that adds a different dynamic in a way, right? I mean, you're less likely to stay in a scenario where, if you've got your children potentially at risk and things too, because most dudes, we're going to try to ride through it, but it's just wild.
Yeah.
We were talking about that too. Like from where I'm from, I mean, this stuff was going on. We never even hear about it.
No.
And it's like it's a big deal. I mean, when Hurricane Katrina happened or the storm last year and like people are getting flooded or people are getting stuck in floodwaters and people die and things. And you think it would be all over the news. Katrina was, but like the storms last year was just like no big deal to the people here.
Right.
That's why it's so weird. It's mind blowing.
I remember trying to think back 16 years ago, what I was doing during Katrina. You definitely heard, Hurricane Katrina.
Absolutely.
It devastated everyone. It was mainly because the levee broke.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I guess it was super abstract in my mind. How do people actually die in hurricanes? Don't they evacuate?
Right.
How much time do they have to evacuate? What's the expected damage? What's the unexpected damage? What's the X factor?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the one thing that as a non-Gulf Coast person, non-Gulf Coast native, you wonder like, what are the variables with a hurricane? I kind of know what they are with an earthquake, but with a hurricane, it's like, yeah, how long did it take you to get here? It's normally a 90-minute drive.
It's normally about 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending. And it took just over 3 hours, I think. And that's because we took a route that goes way out of the way, went over the bridge because it was still open, the bridge to go to the North Shore. It's like the world's longest bridge over Lake Pontchartrain. So we took that route, which is out of the way. So it did take longer, but there was accidents everywhere you went. That's the other problem is people don't think about some of the other situations. So if you're going east or west, people are trying to get to Texas, they're trying to get to Florida, they're going these places. Then there's an accident and it creates what was maybe an hour backup. Now it's 2.5 hour backup. Somebody gets killed in an accident, I mean, just there's so many things that you just can't even plan for. The unexpected of what occurs before. And then, like you said, coming back, you have no clue. You just don't know what we're dealing with. There's so many unknown elements right now. Yeah.
My dad always told me when, one variable that one unknown in a situation in life, you can solve for it. Two unknowns, you can usually solve for it. Once you get to 3 or more variables in life, in multivariate calculus or in real life, that's just when things get insoluble. They get to be too many permutations and or combinations of things that can happen. And you can't have a fallback plan when there's 4, 5, 6 variables. And I guess that's just what these people are dealing with right now. So everyone out there, please do keep the folks of New Orleans in your prayers. At least 500,000 will be without power tonight. And we're still kind of waiting to see what the fallout will be. We thought it would be windier here in Hattiesburg. I was just out there before we came up here, and it's calmer than I thought it would be.
That's part of the eerie thing too, I guess, is that you're not really sure what to expect. And then when you don't necessarily get what you were thinking, it kind of throws you off as well. I remember last year we were standing outside when the eye obviously came directly over us because it went from windy, storming, dark, and kind of eerie, no power, of course, to like the most beautiful, serene weather you'd ever seen in your life. And the kids are outside running around playing, and everybody's laughing and having fun.
In the eye of a hurricane?
In the eye of the hurricane. Because they don't know. They're kids, right? They have no idea. And then all of a sudden, I remember one of my kids looked up and goes, "It's getting really dark really fast again."
He's like, "Hey, wait,
and you see the wall
a
coming.
A bowling alley is floating in the sky over there." That's an old Simpsons joke. Like, I don't remember that bowling alley, Barney's Bowlerama, being in above that tree.
Above
By
the
the way,
tree.
it's coming here in an hour.
Yeah, it's gonna be here. Like,
It's gonna be here in Mississippi in an hour, so we'll lose power.
we're gonna lose power. I get the 7 souls in the car. We escape New Orleans. So we get up here, and then we're gonna lose power anyways.
Right.
What were we thinking?
You brought it with you.
Well, because in my mind, I'm thinking like go east, go west, but the hurricane curves. Like usually it's gonna curve or slice. Was it slice or curve? Right. I guess we were playing golf.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, I'll just go straight inland. That should be the best option. apparently that's not necessarily the best option. So
Did you like my answer? You were like, is it slice or curve? I don't know squat about golf. So my answer was, yeah.
yes, yes, that's right.
Do you wear boxers or
Listen.
briefs? No.
Listen, man, if you're left-handed, it's a slice.
Yeah.
Is a curve if you're right-handed. So that's why I was trying to be mindful of the golf fans. Okay. I know
Of the sinister? You're being sinister minded.
exactly, yeah. There's
Yeah.
plenty of golf fans that
Sinister.
watch this show
Right.
and want to make sure that they.
I would actually challenge that assumption. I don't know how many sports fans there are that watch the show. We should do some sort of polling or something to ascertain how many sports, because anytime I mention any of the sports I like, basketball, football, boxing, there's like a couple outlier comments and everyone else is like,
Badminton.
don't
They
talk
say that
about
they watch
sports
sports
ball.
in chat.
What's that? Yeah.
Put in the chat.
Yeah, say what's up. Say F or something if you watch sports.
Press F to pay respects.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do a show with my friend Father Alan Benander about sports. Very good athlete, about the importance of them. But I just don't know if that's reflected by the parish orphans and retrogrades. I want to tell you guys real quick that one, if you want to support this show, if you're looking for good places to support, do look for the fallout from this hurricane. There might be some real opportunities for tithing.
Mhm.
Good sources for your funds. I mean, hopefully my friend here
Yeah, I
will have a home,
know.
something more than this large trad van to call home. But keep your ears tuned for that.
Sleeping
But
in the van.
yeah, I'm sleeping in the van, J.K. Rowling style. It's a spacious van. It's at least 90 square feet that you got in that real estate. So no, but I mean, of course, you can support the show by going to TimothyJGordon.Patreon. You can also support by buying the new book, which is The Case for Patriarchy, put out by the good folks at Sophia Institute Press. The best way, in the upcoming week that you can support our efforts here at Rules for Retrogrades is if you're looking for a good adult ongoing ed class, or you have a homeschooler and you need a little bit of help, go to TimothyJGordon.com, click enroll, because classes are starting this week. We got Latin 1, Algebra 1, U.S. history, church history, Aristotle's ethics, Catholic social teaching, and scripture. I always forget scripture.
I was going to say that, but you got it out this time.
I'm like 7 classes, then I list 6. They're like, do you really have them? So go to TimothyJGordon.com and click enroll. Classes begin on Wednesday, and it's going to be really exciting. So
you said 7 classes. You list 6. Is one of them math? You said.
yeah. And I'm in it, and I am not the teacher.
He's actually taking
enrolling in this.
He's taking the class so he can learn as well.
It's counting 101, and I keep feeling that. But the thing is, I also plug Real Estate for Life, which is funny because I'm always like, hey, if you want to get out of a blue state and get to a red state, contact the good folks at Real Estate for Life. You just got from a slightly less red state to a more red state.
Yes.
And you didn't even have to contact the good folks at realestateforlife.org. You just literally were chased out by a hurricane.
Yeah,
so
waited for a hurricane is the right time.
Either way, one or the other, no
Take what you
judging.
can get.
Yeah. So, but do go to realestateforlife.org if you're looking to move. And I encourage you to move because we got another storm coming, and it's got nothing to do with Ida. As frightening a dame as she is, we got another storm coming. We need people to get to a key 7, 8, 9 blood red states, make them more blood red. Conservatives, we need to unite. Go to realestateforlife.org. So you know what we're doing tonight. We are going to be having a good time for another 50 or 55 minutes. Then the power will cut out, and we'll all be shivering and sobbing ourselves to
And
sleep.
all like 12 of our kids will be screaming.
Yeah, all 12 kids just screaming.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
11 or 12?
11 total.
11,
But you count as a big kid because you take
I
the
am-
sobbing in the night.
I'm one of the children
It's
because I
normal.
sob at night. I maybe, depending on what happens to all my things. You never know.
Would be justified this time. I'm just
Again,
talking
we're
about
not-
your norm.
I just want to make it very clear that we're not laughing because any of this is funny. Like, trust me, I'm from that area. I get it. I do want to say thank you to the people who've reached out to me. I've been getting a lot of text messages. By that, I mean like one. I'm kidding. Thank you to all the people worried about us, checking on us and things. We are safe. We're out of the city. There was even people on Twitter kind of reaching out and saying they were praying for us. They're offering their mass today. They were offering their prayers at mass and things for us. So we really appreciate that. We just hope that everybody can get out of this in the best possible situation. So again, thank you all. It's very overwhelming to just not have any idea of what's going to happen. So I guess we'll find out. Hopefully there's not a lot of people that lose their lives in their things, but that's just the way it works out, it seems like. And these people in these areas either live here because they can't go anywhere or because they just love it. They love the South. They love the red state they live in, and maybe it's a blue city, but there's a lot of history in New Orleans, and they've been coming here for a long time, and it's got some crazy charm to it that people like. So
it is a charming place. You know, part of that charm, we were soaking in, me, Steph, you, and your lady. I don't know if you've ever said her name on this, but some people are. The funny part about New Orleans folk is they're crazy in a good way, crazy in a Catholic way. As we were sitting around watching TV, all of us had our phones out and we were watching this guy who was live streaming to 17,000 people. And what was he doing? Was he, you know, get the whiteboard out, do hardcore research on, I'm diving into Catholic encyclopedias and old tomes. That's what I do to create content. This guy was just driving his car around New Orleans, cheating death, you know, watching roofs get torn.
It wasn't even that. It's the fact that he's sitting there like this. So he's driving down the road, 150-mile-an-hour winds. It looks like there's water blowing. And he pulls over the levee because like the levee's what keeps the water out and keeps you safe. Goes over the levee, drives down like into the water. Then his phone goes off. he just answers the phone with like 17,000 people watching the channel, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm on the other side of the levee." Oh yeah, the water's crazy high, but I'll just put it in reverse and just like back away from it.
Yeah.
And it's like random. Like I said, these people are just, they're so hardy. They're so different. They're just like a whole different kind of character.
Yeah. Didn't you say he was, because I had to leave the room. Didn't you say he was like having all of these bizarrely ordinary conversations? Like, no, it turned, I got the results back from the dermatologist. It wasn't a mole.
No.
It was just a protuberance rash.
But literally,
we're like, dude, did you realize you're live streaming to 17,000? I've never had 17,000 people watching at once. I've had 17,000 watch my videos.
That's just routine.
Yeah.
Just routine storm weather. And he gets out on the interstate. He's, oh yeah, we'll go up towards Medellin. We're gonna go see what's going on in Medellin. It's this eerie like problem. And he just says, oh yeah, no. And he's literally on the phone with his buddy or whoever. Yeah, if the water gets higher, I'll just back up. Yeah, you would just move away from the water, right? Like, what do you mean? Literally said he went on the other side of the levee.
Did he have, so did he have two phones? I forget. Was one live streaming and the other one he was talking to his dermatologist? Or
I don't know. I don't know.
No, it's yeah. God bless that guy.
It's amazing.
In my experience, you know, with New Orleans folk, I went to undergrad in Dallas, and I would often travel to see one of my best friends at New Orleans.
Oh man,
New Orleans Loyola, and so I'd hung out a lot there. He sounds like a pretty typical New Orleans Catholic, which I mean as a compliment, bizarrely enough.
What we should do is, I wonder if maybe people put it in the chat. If you want Tim and I to just get in the van and just start driving south, we'll live stream.
Yeah,
it's getting pretty bad. Let me call my dermatologist and see how things are going.
Yeah. The dialogue will be a little bit better than that guy's like one-sided dialogue monologue, right? We won't be talking about.
So strange. Like,
I don't think he knew that many people were watching.
I guarantee you, there's no way he knew there was like 17,000 people.
How could he not know though? It's right there when you lie. I mean, like, we know
because he's on the phone. He's not even watching his own live stream.
Yeah. No, people out there, look, this was a serious idea. We were going back and watching old Stranger Things episodes, but we were like, should we drive south and just live stream? Because we could probably have gotten 17,000 viewing if we would have talked about our dermatology results, I guess. What was that dude's name?
We got to find his channel now. We got to plug him, man.
Yeah, we're plugging.
You got to plug his channel.
Just made you, bro.
Don't watch this. Go off of this channel. Go to his channel.
Dude, his channel exploded. I was looking at Twitter, and it like people were retweeting his video of him on the phone driving around New Orleans.
The best part were the comments. Like the live chat was the best because it's like one lady will be like, "Go home. What are you doing? Like, how dare you?" and all this. And it's like, well, I mean, I guess he's just stuck at home otherwise. So if he wants to be out, and then somebody else would be
idle
like,
hands.
awesome.
So the devil's workshop. I guess someone really imprinted that deep in that young man's mind.
He's a bro. Like, he's just a bro.
He's a bro. He's like, I'm not going to sit around and do nothing for all of 4 hours. I'm driving in the middle of a hurricane.
That's the The what?
He's
He's
still
still out. He's still,
He's
this
still out.
road
Wait, does someone
warrior.
have a phone? We could
How
like.
big is this guy's gas tank? Like, let's look it up. Yeah.
I don't
How
know.
big
I
is
don't
this guy's
understand.
gas tank? He's
Yeah,
just
I don't see
driving around for hours. And
The real
hours.
question is, how big is this guy's heart? Because he is fearless, heart of a lion, eye of the tiger. I mean, yeah, he's been
Somebody's
at it
gonna
for
look
6
him up.
hours.
Watch, somebody will look him up and he'll be like an ex-felon, and they'll be like, "Oh, they were talking about this ex-felon like he's this lovable guy."
Tim and Boss were saying that this person
Oh,
who
he's
poisoned
still
children's
Get,
school.
get
man.
out! Is he
He's
really?
still
It's
driving
getting
around.
dark
It's
out,
live.
guy. If you can hear us, get out. It's getting dark now. Go
Come on,
home.
man. You can't even get footy. You can't even get good footage of this stuff.
He's got
At this point.
14,000 live
You wanna
viewers.
show him? I don't know.
Wow.
Up here?
Yeah, can you hold it up so they can see?
Can we ask him like what his secret
Hold
is?
it up
I guess
so
just
you
drive
can
around
see.
during storms.
Like,
Well, you can't see it really. no.
Storm chasing? Yeah, it's a bad.
Oh, he's got a light. Look, he's got like a.
yeah, he's got his. Yeah, it's bad. There's a lot of trees down.
Holy cow! It's quite bright.
Yeah,
That's
well,
quite
he's
right.
he's out. He's probably out shining deer too. Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, trees down, power lines down, obviously, and it's still getting battered pretty good. I don't know where he's at right now. So the problem with the hurricane, obviously, is that you get the front part of the storm, like I was saying, and then it calms down, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, we're gonna be fine. And then the second half comes, and you just get hit all over again.
Yeah.
So it is really freaky. It's a very strange experience. Again, though, I mean,
Remember when
Yeah.
we had our first hurricane here and we had no idea and we went to the Dairy Queen and we're like, why is everything shut down?
We're like, what the hell, Dairy Queen? I came for a blizzard, bro. And they were like, okay, we'll make it for you fast, but aren't you guys worried about your safety? We're like, yeah, we are. If we don't get our blizzard, I'm worried about your safety. You don't make it. And then we were like, where is everyone in Hattiesburg? And they were saying that it was the middle of a tornado, and we were just driving around without 17,000 followers.
Yeah, it's craziness. But you know what? I mean, like I said, that's why we came up here. We came to visit you guys because at least we're gonna be with people we know. Maybe have at least a little bit of fun for the kids and people, because again, this could be really bad. I mean, there's people really suffering right now that are going through it as we speak, and we're laughing like a couple of idiots. But I mean, hey, again, if you don't laugh, you cry sometimes. So
I remember when I'm known as a Californian by reputation and by birth, and I lived there many times. And then I've also said, I said it lots with Taylor Marshall, that I spent a lot of time in Dallas. That's where Steph and I met each other, went to high school and college out there. But for a short period of time, my dad being in the oil and gas industry, we lived in Denver. And any time that it would get to be a serious hailstorm, which was not infrequent in the year and a half we lived there, my mom would pull all of us down to the basement. You don't have basements in California or Texas ordinarily. So it was like a fun thing. We'd get hot chocolate. We'd pull all our stuffed animals down there and have a good time. This is kind of what we're talking about. Peregrinatio, the pilgrim life, taking pleasure in the simple things. Children, not to be cliche, but kids, I was watching our 11 kids interact earlier. They're especially good at it, right? They don't, like, your kids don't care at all. They're just having a good time with my kids.
yeah.
They're running around, and this is kind of like their iteration of running around with their stuffed animals in the basement, which was always fun for us and cozy. And as a kid, all you intuit is, hey, this is kind of different than my routine, and routine is stinky and boring, and different is good. Variety is the spice of life. So there's some way we can all be childlike that way.
And that's what the gospel calls us to do.
That's what we're called to
You
do.
know, the Midwest, it's hurricanes, it's tornadoes.
Tornadoes.
And we were talking about that earlier. Like, you hear the tornado alarm, you go downstairs because you can have a basement there. You can't dig down into New Orleans. I don't know if anybody knows that, right? I'm sure most people do. It's just water, folks. So you're not digging a basement. So you get the alert in the Midwest. You go down to the basement, you hide, and it's over in like maybe 20 minutes, right? Maybe 20 minutes max is done. And if the tornado goes directly over you, even, it's over with, it's done, and it's gone. This is like hours and hours of just getting pounded by rain and wind. So that's the other thing.
Not to mention what a hurricane really is, if you think about it, is like a giant, 2-mile wide tornado.
Yeah, I know,
So
exactly
like with the
right, yeah.
tornado, I
Yeah.
always try to explain
Yeah.
odds to Steffi, right? We're always talking about numbers. I'm like, okay, I just break things down mathematically. And with a tornado, we had a really bad one 2 years ago here in Hattiesburg before we got here. It went right down the 98. in Hattiesburg, and it stayed right along the 98, which is bizarre odds that it would do that. And it destroyed like everything in town. It was horrible. Why am I laughing?
I know, right?
I laughed at the wrong time, but it was truly traumatic. You can still see some damage here in Hattiesburg, even though it's a very nice little town, sleepy little kind of small mid-sized town. But this tornado from 2.5 years ago really wreaked havoc on it. And I'm like, but the odds of you, unless you live in a trailer park, which is like a magnet for tornadoes,
it is,
for whatever reason, the odds of your house getting hit by a tornado is so small. Well, hurricanes being,
miles wide,
mega tornadoes that are miles wide, they just they swallow everything up. I don't know why I'm explaining hurricanes to an audience that probably understands them much better than me. I'm like, really, what a tornado is and what a hurricane. I don't. Why am I doing this? Well, but I'm just in an odd mood.
They were on the Weather Channel drawing up the map where he was showing where the eye was at, and then he's like, okay, we'll just draw a little arrow and show you the expanse of this wall that they were talking about. And he pulls the arrow out, and it's like 50 miles. It's like a 50-mile arrow. He's like, it's these bands of rain are covering that area.
Wow. And
so he was saying if you're like in the inner band, I think at the time they were predicting 15 to 16 inches of rain in just a matter of a couple of hours.
Wow.
And so again, you're talking about nowhere for the water to go because it's all swampland already. The drainage systems are notoriously terrible. Hopefully, we pray to God that the levees that they fixed and all the improvements they made will hold. I haven't heard any bad news in that aspect, so that's the good news. Because beyond all of this that we talked about, my wife was explaining to me, because I'm not a very smart guy at all, but she was saying the storm surge is the worst part. Yeah. So you've got 15 feet of water coming in like seconds behind the storm because it's displacing all of this water as it's coming on shore. So that's the other thing to be worried about as well. You imagine from going no water at all to just 15 feet in seconds. So not exactly something that you want to have to think about either.
Aren't we supposed to get here in Hattiesburg like 5 inches of rain starting in 35 minutes?
And people are mentioning that you should be a meteorologist.
Oh, hey, look at that. That's a pretty good job.
Just because I'm so bad at predicting the weather, I make a good meteorologist. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Like I know nothing about weather, thus I should be a meteorologist. There's a logic to that because they always get weather wrong. Or is that the joke? Or
no.
I'm not.
No,
I don't know.
Explaining tornadoes to
Oh yeah.
Explaining tornadoes to grown adults.
So blizzards. Let's do blizzards next.
Blizzards are next. And what are some of the other ones? How about tsunami? Is a tsunami just a hurricane? I'd be a terrible weather.
They just have different names for it depending on, I think, if it's in the Atlantic or the Pacific, maybe. So typhoon, right?
It sounds like a guess.
No, but then there's like tidal waves too, but I don't think those are.
Well, that's a wave. That's not weather.
No. You know anything?
Hold on.
Maybe Steph and
waves,
Mrs. Bosselay.
Like giant rogue waves, I guess, are what they say do create these, though. I didn't know that. That's what hurricanes start out from.
Yeah.
The hot water mixing with clouds and science and math, and then
science.
Bang, you get a hurricane, which is the strangest thing I've ever heard. But they can track these from the time they're actual waves. So if you didn't know that, now you do. You're welcome. So,
you're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Boom, I learned you something there. So
nice. Well, as much as we've struggled with utter lunacy and some cluelessness throughout the show here tonight, we do pray for the good folks of New Orleans, which is to say we pray for you. For your immortal soul and your families, and we appreciate everyone tuning in here tonight with our really cutting edge, top quality scientific hurricane coverage of Hurricane Ida.
Super sciencey.
So, yeah, it's dropping some science.
People should definitely go look at the radar though, because imagine a storm. I mean, really though, look, it's the size of the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, that really is.
That's pretty wild when you think about a storm that can actually cover an entire state. So that's kind of what we're talking about.
It's a state-sized tornado with rain.
Yeah.
So dig that.
A nice little eye in the middle to go outside and play around in too. If you're a kid, you just have no idea what's going on.
If you're a boss kid, you go out and play in the hurricane and look at the floating buildings around you.
If there were any questions people had about it, I don't know if they want to know anything, but I didn't know if people were asking. Like,
we don't know anything, but you can ask us questions. We'll make stuff up.
You guys are top-notch scientists.
Easy. We got this.
What shape is the Earth?
I'm going with a vortex shaped, a conical You guys know it's a cylinder.
I thought it was like a donut shape with like
Yeah.
a hole in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like you can go around it.
Boom. Answered.
Easy. That was an easy.
Drop in
ask something
science.
difficult. Yeah. Ask something difficult. Don't
We
ask
have
some.
people in here that are from Hattiesburg that said the tornado was in 2013, and it literally
was-
went just right down the.
Oh, I thought it was 19.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wasn't there a 19 one? Hattiesburg people in the audience?
Right down the interstate too. Very polite.
Yeah, no, it was. It stayed in its lane from
Yeah.
what I hear. It destroyed everything in town, but
Right.
it's drove on the right-hand side of
That's just wild.
the 98.
Tornadoes they do a lot of damage very quickly.
They do.
They really do. Hurricanes has got hours and hours of damage to do. So
Somebody's mentioning a hurricane party. Anthony, didn't you say that there was somebody that had like a barbecue? Or
okay,
something going?
here's another situation that makes me laugh. So I'm texting friends that I have back home who decided to wait the storm out. So they got, again, water generators and different things. And this guy that I know just moved in, I would say within the last year. And he texted me, and I could look for the text, but essentially he said, I said, how are things going? And I was sending him screenshots of the radar because his text messaging isn't working well, and for photos and stuff. And he said, it's going really great, but my neighbor stopped by and he asked if I wanted any beer or tequila because he's doing a crawfish boil and he's barbecuing right now. And so there's like 70-mile-an-hour winds and he's outside just drinking tequila, having a good old time, having a crawfish boil. So I guess that's how they
I told you.
get down.
We love you, New Orleans folks.
Yeah, it's
You
amazing.
guys-
It really
And
is.
he's using your Traeger.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
got my grill.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be able to use your Traeger here
Oh, I
in Hattiesburg.
some decisions that I had to make. I'm looking back now, like how stupid was that? But again, you feel like you want to worry about people first.
Yeah.
Obviously, things. Hopefully we won't
Barbecued
have to
meats
play
second.
something-
Second
That is
priority.
the very close second, and we just got in the van and ran.
Yeah.
So
Somebody's asking, boss, how many people usually evacuate during these bad hurricanes? Do most people or only some? Just wondering the logistics of such a evacuation.
Sounds like a Californian, by the way, but I'm
yeah,
with
just
you.
hours and hours of people and traffic backing up. So I was driving back from the North Shore towards New Orleans while people started evacuating. And I think the backup of traffic must have been about 15 to 20 miles long. And that's from what I saw. So it could have been way worse than that. And again, most people were going east, most people were going west. With that said, I don't know the percentage of people who actually get out versus who doesn't. A lot of the people in the inner city don't get out. They just, wherever they're at, that's where they're going to remain at. It's the smaller communities, I think, that can. When you look further south than the city, it just goes out towards the Gulf, and you've got people in Port Sulphur and other places where they're up on houses that are on, stilts, basically. And I think they just have no hope of getting out, and they just stay where they're at because they actually will close the roads. They'll put up flood walls and things. And so they'll tell them, if you want to get out, you have X number of time to do it, or else we're just going to close you in.
I'm not trying to pile on or anything, but how?
So, yeah.
Think about that. They're stuck in a hurricane and they're stuck in a place called Port Sulphur.
Port Sulphur.
That's just
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, unreal. Like
I'm
I
sorry
said-
for all those
But like
these
I
people,
said,
but
I
that
mean,
is
these
that is
people
bad.
are just some of them are just crazy, but I mean they're very hardy. They've lived through this before. It's not as big of a deal to them. They're
Right.
sort of prepared for it and things. But an idiot like me who's not from here originally, really not prepared for these kind of things.
Right.
It's just stuff to think about. So you hear the announcements on TV. They say, get your family together, get your bug out bags, your kits with water and medicine and different things. Make sure you have enough for multiple days because, like I said, I plan on hopefully going home Tuesday. I don't know if we can do that though. They may call and say, or the city may put out like the interstate's closed and you can't return home.
Yeah.
Because they have done that before. So that's the thing you risk leaving, right? Is that if you can't get back in, then what do you do? So we'll have to wait and find out.
Then if the city's closed and you can't get home, we're reviewing all the Stranger Things
I was
seasons.
going to say it's a test
Looks
of
like
friendship at that point.
Yeah.
Then it turns into a friendship test. So how long can you actually stay and annoy your friends at their house?
Yeah.
And just overplay their how nice they are, right? Just see
Yeah.
how far away you can. How far
We're gonna figure that out.
we're gonna get to the end of this. We will find out. No. But yeah, thank you to you guys. You've been great. You guys didn't even hiccup. It was like, yeah, come on up.
Yeah,
You
of
invited
course.
us sooner than we even thought we'd be able to.
Yeah.
And so that was awesome. I really do appreciate that. It made a big difference, obviously, for my kids and my wife.
Well, we're not gonna be like hurricane. What category? You're like,
literally-
hey man, can we
that's
come up?
literally
We're
what you
like
texted me.
category 4
You were
or
like-
5.
If it's a 3, forget it. And then once it hit 4, then you were like, okay, now it's a little bit serious.
4,
So-
you can stay in the front yard. 5, we'll let you come in the house.
So I do have to say this too. So my wife, God bless her, she hates bridges.
Oh, you're gonna do it to
She
her.
hates water.
You're gonna do it to her.
And this is
She
the
didn't want
world's-
this read, so he's gonna read it. This is
It's the world's longest bridge. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. I looked it up. I thought it was fake. Okay. There's longer bridges that are like not continuous. And we've gone over it one time. It was an accident. I got confused. And she looked over at me and she's like, we're not going to take that really long bridge, right? Like, you wouldn't do that, would you? And I just said to her, no, of course we're not going to take that bridge, knowing full well about 2 hours earlier, I had made the decision to go over the world's longest bridge. So,
fibber.
so everyone pray for my wife's sanity and pray for me as well, because she was not happy about that. She was a trooper. We made it just fine. But yeah, she didn't want me. She was like, please don't bring that up. But it was just too funny.
She coped with it though.
Well,
She
I
coped
had to
with
take the safest, fastest route out of the city. That's literally all it came down to.
Yeah.
And that was just the best way to go. Because again, there was car accidents. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So,
Yeah.
So thanks to my wife for hanging in there.
I also hate bridges, so I understand.
Yeah.
They're nerve-wracking.
Her hatred towards bridges.
Yeah.
And until you've driven in Louisiana, you're just driving over swamp bridges. They're not bona fide like suspension bridges,
Right.
but you're driving for huge swaths of the state over
Port Sulphur.
yeah, Port Sulphur. lovely Port Sulphur. We try to get over there once a year for the wafting of the sulfur
Sulphur Fest.
in the spring.
Sulphur Fest is
Sulphur
a blast.
That's
It
not-
is.
that's
You
not
go.
just an oil bill.
We're gonna make T-shirts this year for Sulphur Fest. So if you want to come out for that,
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's a
we'll
big
get-
deal.
we'll,
The president comes out and plays the saxophone at it. President Clinton. We're gonna get all these hate mails from people that are like, these people are experiencing a hurricane, and you just trounced on their
Oh.
civic name. No, we love you, Port Sulphur. We love you,
I don't even know what the
Port
population is.
Sulphurians.
How many people?
Don't be
evacuated?
Port
You know,
Sulphurious
percentage?
with me for these
Because
jokes.
somebody asked that, and I don't have the numbers, but like, what percentage of people stay versus get out? Because it's a fair amount of people that stay. I think it really is. They just don't really have the means. But anyways, I was trying to get your question answered to person whoever asked it. I
Yeah.
don't know if there was any other questions or things to talk about, but I'm open to just explaining kind of what happened and how it went down.
I'm open to explaining all these things I don't understand well
But
enough to
I'm
explain.
I'm surprised of all the questions they asked. That was
Yeah.
the easiest one. What shape is the Earth? I mean,
Yeah.
it's whatever you want to make it. It's up to you.
Yeah, like can a man have a baby? Like,
Of course, everyone's seen
does he
Junior.
want to?
The governor of California did it before anybody even tried to
Right.
talk
People
about
are
that.
wondering if you guys heard about Biden saying that you take shelter for the hurricane, but also wear your mask. Like, as
Oh.
like part of the hurricane preparedness.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's the president, so we all know he's got his wits about him. Look, he's young, he's capable, he hasn't ruined everything. So I mean, clearly you do what he says, and he never lies. That's the thing. And his whole presidency is not a psyop. So, I mean, clearly, I forget the question.
No comment.
Yeah.
My official comment is no comment.
Yeah, which actually is a performed contradiction. Are there any other
It
questions?
is a live performance of a contradiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is entertaining. It's something to take our minds off of what's actually going on. So really, thank you all for providing this opportunity.
People are saying you guys should go down and live
I
stream.
told you I knew they'd be down.
Well, because what is another couple of men who have families safety to you? If
It's like
just ask the guy with 17,000 viewers, maybe you can even hear about my
he's
dermatology.
still going. Is he still going? It looks like he's still going.
Yeah, we should share that guy's info so that we don't have to risk our necks to
Yeah,
get
I
it.
don't think we're gonna. I would have done it earlier when it was like lighter out.
Yeah.
maybe little less risky.
We were
It's getting
seriously
bad.
considering it.
Is it getting really bad? You're shaking your head kind of weird. What's going on here?
There's just like there's a couple places they have to turn around because it literally.
Oh yeah, okay. So he's having to turn around. So if this guy's turning around, things are getting
Things
bad.
are hairy.
Things are starting to get a little bit hairy.
When this guy says enough, it's 3 or 4 steps
He's
past
probably out of
enough.
tequila. He's running out of his drink. So.
We're gonna. Hey, he's a fellow YouTuber. We're gonna have to.
Yeah,
We're gonna have
invite him
to
up.
exchange trade secrets. Are there any other questions
wow,
before
yeah,
we
this is-
end the exciting hurricane rules for retrogrades episode?
John Uzzle is in chat. And he's
What's up,
asking,
John?
Do
John.
either of you ever fall asleep while talking to each other?
What? Oh, John. I
You
met
might
John.
want to
He's a-
repeat the question so other people can hear me.
John's a good dude.
Did either of us ever fall asleep while talking to one another? Which either I laughed, and there's like 3 different ways I could take that, and 2 of them are like gay jokes. But
Not all 3 of them.
either the 3rd one would just be we're both really boring and bad at this, but we put one another to sleep. But that can't be true.
Yeah, usually we just Skype on video to fall asleep, don't we? So we can see each other.
Yeah,
That's normal.
virtual male, straight male cuddling.
That's weird too. That's weird because when I met John, he actually seemed like such a nice guy, but now I don't know if maybe he's not so
Terrible.
nice.
Oh yeah, you've met John in person.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
What's up, John?
I think he's too
Yeah, of course he
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I don't think he thinks that. Couldn't think I'm actually a. I don't know about this guy.
There's no way that would be something. That
It's impossible. Anybody else? These questions, we're down to keep them coming.
Yeah, this is
because
great.
all we have for us is shivering and fear and a frightful hurricane.
I can tell the story
5
about
inches of
going
rain.
over the bridge.
Yeah,
Can you tell that story?
she's like,
They want to know what the Hurricane Guys YouTube channel is.
Oh, let's see. Can we find
We
it?
gotta give it to them.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's share.
Let's do it. Yeah.
in the interest of humanity.
And then just be like Timothy J. Gordon sent me here.
Yeah, yeah. When you go, everyone like bombard his chat. I don't
Right.
even think he watches his chat.
And then just start talking about E. Michael Jones in there.
It's called WX Chasing, right?
WX Chasing.
It's WX
So catchy.
CHASING.
Yeah.
He has 18.4 thousand subscribers.
What?
And he is live in New Orleans, you guys. And
It's pretty hairy.
it's a wild scene.
You know what? You should type it in there for them.
Yeah,
so they
I
can see it better.
should,
Probably
yeah.
do that.
yeah,
I highly recommend watching this guy for a little bit.
it's A+ content.
And now that it's dark, it's like spooky. You can like turn the lights down and watch it, and you know, stranded cars, and it is eerie. I know during the event that was occurring a while back that we don't mention by name on the stream so that it gets blocked or whatever it is, but we were driving through the city to go to mass or other things, and it was just like a ghost town, and that's really spooky. So I can only imagine it's going to be worse than that this time because they're going to be abandoned vehicles and other things. It's going to look probably otherworldly.
Wait, this event here? I'm writing it to you. That?
Yeah.
Well,
No, not that one.
No, not that one?
The C word.
Oh.
Yeah, that event.
Well, be careful with that one. Yeah.
What do you call it? Beer bug? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, beer bug.
Beer
That's
bug.
right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
during beer bug,
It's
we
a secret name.
drove through the city, and it was just it looked like a Hollywood film.
Yeah.
No one on the street.
Yeah.
People were in their homes doing I don't know what. But
Dude, one time Steph and I drove through New Orleans, and there were people that were passed out in the street. There was filth, and it was just a normal day in New
Yeah,
Orleans.
absolutely.
Sorry to keep kicking the city walls down. God bless them.
Bourbon Street though is a terrible place.
Yeah.
So.
They wanted 2 questions.
Colorful.
Somebody wants to
Fun.
know what your favorite blizzards are, Dairy Queen.
Ooh, that's a good. See, this is the content we're here for.
This is what the rules for retrogrades is all about. Can we do cereals at some point?
We did
Yeah.
on one episode. Remember we on
Yeah.
the audio only.
Yeah, people hated it.
And
no,
no.
no.
know what in not of means. So maybe one of you can take one of the, or you guys can answer both.
Do you want to do the blizzard one?
Why can't we both give our Blizzard flavors?
Okay, dude. I'm not setting rules. I was just suggesting. Yeah, we'll both do blizzard.
Mine's Oreo.
Yeah, mine's Oreo.
It's Oreo's always a go-to. So-
right.
Yo,
And that's yeah.
And who says we're gay?
And who says that we don't share? Yeah, no,
We
and I
don't
mean
share.
I like it for its flavor and for the representation of racial harmony that it represents.
Because it's blended so
Listen.
nicely together.
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, because it's
It's a
beautiful.
mulatto Blizzard.
But what was the other question?
And not of.
not
Where does
of
that come
means,
from?
your
What does it
guys'
mean?
podcast.
You want to do it?
Go ahead. You're
No,
much
you-
better. No,
you-
you're the science guy.
I'm the science guy. I couldn't
Yeah.
even tell you what a blizzard was unless it's capitalized.
You're very sciencey.
Okay.
Like you, this is your channel. This is
All right. In Not Of is the podcast within a podcast. You're currently watching it and or listening to it. And it represents Christ's admonition to live in the world, but
not be of it.
you finish everyone
We all finish
2.5%. Yeah. In not of the world.
in it, not of it,
Of it. Secrets of the universe. Right.
Universe. it goes off softly into the night.
Right. So now, but everyone out there in Rules for Retrogrades land are like, oh, what a genius name. What a genius man.
You came
what a
up with
genius show. Yeah,
You actually came up with that idea.
I did.
I wanted to call it two dudes making gay jokes, but you didn't want to go for that. So
That's in every show description, every episode title. Yeah.
this is so bad.
Yeah.
This is going south so
Why don't you
fast.
take the opportunity to explain the R for R logo?
Oh man, for all of there's so much pearl clutching over the R for R logo. Okay.
Wait,
If you go to the city of Rome in Italy, in the middle of the boot, it's a big city. Roman Catholicism is centered there. There is a very exciting crypt in Barberina Piazza, one of the main piazzas in the center of the city, east of the Tiber. And it's called the Capuchin Crypt. And it's a crypt made of all Capuchin monks, cappuccino. And they decided to make the entire church a boneyard, and everything's made of the bones of the monks themselves.
So far, everything you've said is true so far.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I didn't know I had a fact checker on the show, but I appreciate it. And it's really spooky. And the whole idea of the Capuchin Crypt is the memento mori concept. So at the end, you just walk and it's a linear thing. They say there are like 7 different rooms, but really it's just one somewhat crappy hall where you just walk down and you see the kind of different vignettes. And I guess there are 7 of them. But at the end, it has a sign that says, what you are now, we once were. What we are now, you soon will be. Like spooky.
That's the Latin around.
Yeah, that's the Latin. Right. So it's a memento mori thing. I really do like to go out on a cheery note. So remember, you're going to die.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, I'll be dead someday.
Yeah.
Somebody said that WX chasing just ran out of gas, guys.
Oh, no way.
How do you WX chase anything now?
Listen, did I not earlier say how big is this guy's gas tank?
You did.
And then you thought that was like a dumb comment, but who's slam dunking it now?
No. I thought it was a dumb man all he has to do is stop at a gas station. Just because you've been, you can drive around the whole country even, but not on one tank of gas. You just stop at a station.
But if the power's out,
and
how's this guy gonna fill up? What are you talking about, man?
Well, use your card. It's not like they don't use full service outside of like Oregon or Oregonians. They have full service gas stations. Nut jobs. The
Mr.
power.
Science guy?
I don't know. I figured that they ran on some sort of alternative nuclear fission energy.
Well, it is surprising that the cell towers and things are up. So hopefully those remain, because that was the most frustrating part, is if you can't get a hold of anybody. So if you have family or friends there, I hope they are getting, they can reach out to you, because that gets very frustrating and scary when you can't reach someone. So
yeah, it does.
It's very, very scary.
Oh, I said we'd pray for these New Orleans sites, and we should do that right now. So let's say in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, for their health and continued safety, and for the municipal well-being of the city. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in to our exciting hurricane content and blizzard content. I honestly am in the mood for
now I am too. We covered tornadoes, blizzards, hurricanes.
You were trying to distinguish tsunami not particularly well.
That was tsunami is when it's not here. It's a different place.
Yeah.
And they spell it differently. So there you go.
Cool beans. Silent T. Yeah. Anyway, God bless you all. Please do go to timothyjgordon.com, click enroll if you have any schooling needs, whether you're an adult or a scamp, a youth. We've got it all. And it begins this week. So God bless you. And please do, in all seriousness, we got Goofy here on Rules for Retrogrades tonight. Please do pray for the New Orleans folks like my friend sitting to my right. And if you're looking to tithe or help these people out, keep attuned to the needs of the city, because it's really genuinely odd that this happened on the 16th anniversary of
very eerie.
Yeah, eerie stuff. So hang tight. Remember the pilgrim church, the nature of peregrinatio, pilgrimage, is to do like my admirable friends Anthony and Mrs. Boss have done. They're because I could tell you honestly, they're worried about their stuff, of course, but they're chill. They're just, whatever, come what may.
Yeah.
Throw your worst at us, life. Do your worst.
God provides.
It's true. All right. Thank you very much, Deus Volt. God bless you all. Keep your head on a swivel. We will talk to you later this week. Peace.